Hello, and welcome to the final day of Rules. After you listen to today's read aloud, I'd like to get your feedback. What did you think of the book? What did you think of the characters? What did you think of the problem and solution? Do you feel like the author did a good job with dialogue and sensory language? Think about all the things that we've talked about this year, things that make up a good story, and tell me what you think of this one. So, this chapter is called A Real Conversation Takes Two People. Alone on the bleachers, I run my hand over my knees to wipe the sweat away. In the half-lit gym, the white stripes on the floor and the basketball backboards almost glow. My fingers long for a fat paintbrush to stroke color again across the white backboards. Blood red, electric blue, tangerine, blistering colors. But I have nothing to hold and nothing to do but wait. I've checked all along the sides of the gym, across the dance floor, out in the hallway, even past the little offices holding sports equipment. The lit clock above the exit sign barely moves, and I make deals with myself. They'll come when the minute hand is on the four. The music blares. I can't hear my feet tap, but someone must have spilled a drink because my sandals catch onto something sticky. Worry twines in my chest, and I keep unsticking my feet in case I need to run out to find Dad and tell him that I want to go home. I last saw him and David drinking grape sodas on the stairs. Jason will come when the minute hand is on the six. Watching kids dancing, I flicker my fingers on my knees. Some of the dancers look goofy. One boy reminds me of David. His elbows bent sharply, but there's so many kids, it doesn't matter. The other dancers make room for him. I see kids from school that I recognize, but no Christy, no Ryan. My fingers trace a cut in the wood of the bleacher beside me, over and over and over again. I slide my fingers along the groove, feeling every bump. Jason will come when the minute hand's on the 11. It's hot inside the gym from all the kids, and I wish that I could go get a drink or step outside and breathe some cooler air, but I'm afraid I'll miss Jason, so I lean back, rest my elbows on the bleacher behind me, and I look at the ceiling. I imagine the beams gone, the roof pulled away, only the endless night sky above me full of stars. The song ends, kids fill in the bleachers all around me. Some kids turn back to the dance floors, another song begins. It hurts how life goes on unknowing. All these kids walking by, heading to the dance floor, walking toward the hallway, not even seeing me. I watch a girl move toward the door. In the bright light from the hallway, she darkens to a shadow, passing the outline of a wheelchair in the doorway. Sorry, excuse me. I step around knees and feet, trying not to push, but wanting to shove past everyone. I have to get over there. As I come closer, Jason looks at me, eyes narrowing. Mrs. Morehouse stands at his side. I'm glad you're here, I say. I really wanted to talk to you. I'll be in the hallway where it's quieter, Mrs. Morehouse says. Come and get me if you need me. Excuse me, I call over and over to kids' backs, making room for us to move down the quiet hallway outside the community center offices. Through the windows, I see the dark outline of great clusters of basketballs, stacks of pointed traffic cones, and a rack of hockey sticks. Standing next to Jason, I don't know what to say to get started. So I say, it's a nice night out. Jason turns his wheelchair to leave. Wait! I reach into my skirt pocket and I pull out the first word. Complicated. Jason lifts his eyebrows. I kneel to be at his eye level. I see how kids stare at David, and it hurts me because I know what they're thinking. Or even worse, they don't look at him, just around him like he's invisible. It makes me mad because it's mean, and it makes me invisible too. Jason watches my face, but his hand moves to give me room to reach the last empty pockets of his communication book. Hidden. I didn't tell Christy everything about you. I didn't tell her about your wheelchair or your communication book. I didn't know how she'd react. I should have because you're my friend, but it got harder and harder. I dropped my gaze to the tiled floor. No, that's an excuse too. The real truth, I was scared what she might think of me, not you. When I look up, Jason is staring toward the dark windows of the community center offices. You're a good friend, I say, and I've been, and I point to the word weak. Catherine? I knew this moment was coming, but I still feel caught red-handed. Christy hurries up the hall, wearing white jeans and a bright pink shirt. I thought you couldn't come. I'm so happy you changed your mind. Beside her, Ryan puts his hand on her arm. I stand up. Jason, this is Ryan and my next door neighbor, Christy. Her smile slips. Hi, Christy. This is Jason. She glances from Ryan to me to Jason. Happy birthday. He points to thank you. Christy looks at me, one eyebrow raised. Jason can't talk, so he uses these cards, and I've been making words for him. I smile at Jason. He's my very good, and then I tap the word friend. She looks where I'm pointing, to the card of a girl's hand waving. Jason taps, Catherine, talk about you all the time. Really? Christy makes a sound. She could have told me more about you. Ryan pulls Christy's arm. Come on, Chris. I'm sorry, I say. I should have told you the truth. Yeah, she says flatly, not looking at me. You should have. I'll see you around. As they walk away, I open my hand to show Jason my last card. I have one more. He shakes his head. Don't want it. I fold the word guilty until it's so small it won't fold again. Jason starts his wheelchair down the hall. Wait, I say, rushing to catch up. Where are you going? Dance. Do you want to come? But I don't. Break. Dance. Rule. Jason tips his head down, looking under his eyebrows at me, like he's expecting me to blast off in some wild, chatty detour. And a detour sits on my tongue like an airplane waiting on the runway. All systems go, cleared for takeoff. All right. I follow him down the hallway, out across the dark gym floor to the very center where there's a clearing in the kids. Next to me, a girl lifts her arm above her head. One by one, the other dancers join her, palms reaching upward, swaying back and forth. Jason joins them, palms open. Standing there in the middle of the floor in front of everyone, I lift up my hands and I reach for the ceiling, the sky, and the stars, and I dance. This next chapter is called If You Need to Borrow Words. Arnold Lobel wrote some good ones. Before I climb into bed, I circle the date on my calendar when Melissa will be home. I have so much to tell her, not the least of which is I danced with a boy who isn't even related to me, and I liked it. And on Tuesday, I'm not bringing my backpack to the clinic, only me. If Jason needs a word, I'll make it, but I'll wait for him to ask. I lift my shade and imagine a beam flashing from Christy's dark window, counting dashes and dots. Are you there? But there is no light. Her window stays dark. Only the street lamps and the stars shine, white brightness. The tiniest knock comes. My door creaks open. David stands framed in the light from the living room. No toys in the fish tank. I slide on my slippers and follow. In the aquarium, a toy wizard stands on the gravel, his wand raised mid-spell. Standing beside the castle, he's so big only his pointy shoe would fit through the tiny castle door. Oops, wrong spell. And instead of a fierce dragon to slay, a huge curious goldfish mouths the end of the wizard's hat. I can't help but laugh. What are you laughing at, Frog? David asks, worried lines cutting his forehead. I touch the tiny frog stamp on his hand, and I show him mine. I'm laughing at you, Toad, said Frog, because you do look funny in your bathing suit. David smiles. Of course I do, said Toad. Then he picked up his clothes and went home. The end. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell Mom that she has a point about David needing his own words, but other things matter too, like sharing something small and special, just for my brother and me. Kneeling beside David, our arms touching, our faces reflect side by side in the glass, I let that be enough. And that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will not see you next time because that was the end. Bye-bye.